Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at an extremely powerful core breaker in the Open Ultra League, Blizzard TENTACRUEL. I finally was able to get the XLs to build my XL TENTACRUEL, and this thing, especially running Blizzard, is an absolute monster. I paired it up with a double wall save switch and a Virizion closer, so a pretty standard flexible ABC style team, and went on an 8-2 run with the team to climb up to 3125 ELO and the global leaderboards. So without further ado, let's up into the matches and check out Blizzard TENTACRUEL in action in the Open Ultra League. Hopping into the first match, picking up a very favorable lead, TENTACRUEL into double. My opponent is staying in this matchup, which either means they're running Wild Charge or they're ABA weak to TENTACRUEL somewhere in the back. Opponent goes for the body slam, so it looks like they are not running Wild Charge, so odds are my TENTACRUEL is going to have play versus something they have in the back. Scald is able to connect. Unfortunately, we do not get the attack debuff. They've overfarmed a ton of energy on the double, and double is going to fire off another body slam. I'm able to make it to the Scald, and this puts pressure on a shield. Double does have quite a bit of energy. Opponent is going to shield. I'm going to farm up, switch into my own double, and get the catch. This way, I can save TENTACRUEL for whatever they have in the back that does not want to see TENTACRUEL, and we see it here as in comes XL Clefable. I have quite a lot of energy already on the double wall, so I'm just going to start spamming out body slam after body slam. XL Clefable is extremely bulky, so I'm going to need a lot of these charge moves if I want to get rid of it. I'm able to land body slam number 2, and here I actually end up throwing on alignment because they were very close to back-to-back moves. I just want to ensure the damage that I can get. They're firing off a charge move with the Clefable. This is going to be getting the double wall low. Switch timer up. I can switch back into the TENTACRUEL, and unless they're running Psychic, which most are not, most are running Meteor Mash and Moonblast, that's going to be resisted. In the back, it's Giratina. Do they know? I don't think they know. TENTACRUEL charging up the Blizzard. Big damage onto the Giratina, and that's going to be game over. In comes Virizion, and there's just nothing Giratina can do. It's too low of HP. Dragon Claw connects, and the opponent concedes the match. We see a core breaker on the lead in the next match, TENTACRUEL into Shadow Gliscor. Gliscor does very well into both TENTACRUEL and the Virizion, so I am going to stay in here and play this out. The good news is that Scald is going to hit for massive super effective damage in return, so I'm able to grab an early shield and an attack drop as well. Tough call to make. I decide to shield, opponent baits with a Night Slash. You absolutely hate to see it. They're going to be able to outpace, make it to the Earthquake, and you know what? I am double shielding. They full send the Earthquake, they're now going to save switch into Blastoise, and now I send in Virizion. Virizion is not running Leaf Blade. I considered running Leaf Blade over Stone Edge, but personally, when running Virizion, I really like the added flexibility that Stone Edge gives to hit back if you get stuck against the Flyer. Blastoise is going to fire off the Ice Beam. Virizion is very tanky, able to withstand that super effective damage, and I'm going to be firing off this Sacred Sword. Sacred Sword, of course, not going to KO, but my goal here is I'm actually not going to throw my move. I want them to KO me, and then I'm going to send back in TENTACRUEL and look to get a big energy head start. This way, my opponent can't really afford to send in the Gliscor, as Gliscor is going to get knocked out by a Scald. They make the 1 HP Hydro Cannon. Opponent sends in the Gliscor. They're weak in the back. I fire off the Scald. That gets the shield from the Gliscor, throwing one more Poison Jab and going for Scald number 2. That KOs the Gliscor in the back. It's a Tapu Fini, and the opponent concedes the match. We see a tough lead in the next match, TENTACRUEL into Galarian Stunfisk. Immediate save switch into double, opponent staying in this matchup, and that's honestly fine by me. They farm up past the Earthquake, I'm going to shield. They're clearly looking for some chip before they switch out, but I'm not going to let that happen. They're staying in. This will continue to misalign our switch timers. Payback is going to connect. Opponent now going to send in a Fairy Wind Clefable, and now our switch timers are very desynced, so I can potentially burn the clock, send back in TENTACRUEL, and get massive farm getting rid of the Clefable. I'm just spamming out body slams to stall the switch timer. Opponent is going to be firing off the charge move. I tank the Moonblast here. I'm able to withstand that damage, no problem. And now I'm going to farm up to the body slam, send in the TENTACRUEL, and not only do I get to waste their energy, but I get an energy head start as Scald will deal some very nice damage onto the Galarian Stunfisk. TENTACRUEL now has a big energy lead, but it's Jellicent in the back. Oh boy, this is going to be tough. as Jellicent is a complete wall to Tentacruel. Tentacruel firing off the Scald. I'm going for another Scald. Scald, of course, is resisted, but the nice thing is it still adds up. After 2 Scalds, they're now very close to half HP, and they are finally at half HP. I'm going to let this go. Jellicent is going to fire off the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball does not KO. Tentacruel is so tanky. I decided to switch into the double. Opponent is going to fire off the Surf. That leaves me on 1 HP. I make the payback here. Payback would be lethal. Opponent miscounts. In comes the Stunfisk, and they resign the match. Hopping into the next match, we see a terrific lead. Tentacruel into Charizard. Opponent is going to be looking to save switch out of this matchup. They save switch into a Alolan Sandslash, and here, honestly, I make a bit of a misplay. What I should have done was brought in Dubwool, as Dubwool, of course, is going to be double resisting those Shadow Claws, while only taking neutral from the Ice Punch. I mean, Virizion still has a winning matchup here, but still, they're probably trying to bait out the Virizion, so ideally, I would want to save it for the end game. I'm going to be shielding up the Ice Punch, looking to overfarm, and now I'm going to be firing off this Sacred Sword. Sacred Sword will be lethal. Opponent is going to send in the Charizard here, looking for the Wing Attack farm down. Can Virizion hang on? Yes, it can! Virizion withstands the Wing Attacks, makes it to the Stone Edge, and Stone Edge grabs the final shield from the opponent. I send back in Tentacruel. I can tank whatever they throw here. Even if it's a Blast Burn, I can tank 2 Blast Burns very comfortably. Blast Burn is going to connect in the back. Opponent has Cobalion, and we see that my mistake has cost me quite a bit, as now I'm in a bit of an awkward spot versus Cobalion. I'm firing off the Body Slam, just looking for any possible chip that I can get. They're firing off the Sacred Sword. I will be able to tank this, and I should be able to make it to multiple more Body Slams. I'm firing off a Body Slam here. Opponent is going to be letting that through. I'm going to make it to another Body Slam, but here I think I can live another double kick, but I can't, and that might just cost me the game. This is such a winnable game, but mistakes have been absolutely everywhere. They are firing off another Stone Edge. At least they have the energy for it. I'm going to commit the shield. I'm looking to farm. Opponent, are they going to switch? They are not. Cobalion will be KO'd by the Scald. Opponent is going to be sending back in the Charizard here. I make it to the Scald. Is this going to be enough to KO? I really need it to KO. Scald does not KO, but we get the debuff. Oh my goodness, this is going to be so close. Dragon Claw does not KO, and against all odds and a lot of mistakes, we get the win. We see a very tough lead in the next game. Tentacruel into Jellicent. I'm going to stay in this matchup to start, look to farm up, switch into the Dubwool, but my opponent shows great restraint, and I'm not able to catch the Shadow Ball. They actually stay in and go for the Surf here, so they do not have a hard check to the Dubwool save switch. They just get some chip damage, and instead send in a Powder Snow Alolan Ninetales. This is a nice play by my opponent, as they guarantee to get some value out of the Ninetales, and then they can guarantee that they keep it well away from the Tentacruel. I'm able to land 2 Body Slams. They'll make the Dazzling Gleam before I make a third. I decide to commit the shield here. It's unlikely they're baiting, and I do want to try and preserve the Dubwool, as it is my best Jellicent counter. My opponent is going to no-shield. The double kick is going to KO. Now the question is, are they going to be sending back in that Jellicent? Opponent, thinking about it, they send back in the Jelly. I have a tough call to make here. I live to serve. I'm very confident they're going to shield the payback, so do I end up going for the bait? I do not. I feel like it's too risky, so I'm going to full send the payback here, hoping they try and call it, but they do not. Good shield by my opponent. I'm farming up. They do not want me to make another payback, so they're going to go for the Surf. This was the one matchup where I did almost miss having Leaf Blade on Virizion, but for the rest, Stone Edge ended up proving to be very handy. Shadow Ball is going to connect in the back. Opponent has an XL Noctowl. I can send in my Tentacruel and go straight for the Blizzard. Blizzard rocks the Noctowl. Noctowl able to hang on with a sliver of HP. Noctowl firing off a charge move. I tank whatever they throw. They go for the Sky Attack. They cannot make another move. Opponent is going to send back in the Jellicent. I'm firing off the Scald. I just need whatever chip damage I can get to hopefully get this into Stone Edge range. Scald is going to connect. I continue to farm up here. Opponent fires off their charge move. I maybe should have gone for the Scald on bad timing there, but I wanted to throw on good timing, and that may actually end up costing me here, as I'm not sure this is Stone Edge range. I go for the Stone Edge. They shield. I think I have to call a bait to have a chance. So I'm being brave. I no shield. It's a Surf. Wait, is this possible? I'm farming up here. I'm going to make it to the Stone Edge. Is this going to be enough to KO? I do run an attack weight Virizion. Stone Edge barely does not. Now I have to double kick down to win. This is going to be close. Virizion shields the Surf. Virizion just cannot get the farm down. Jellicent with 1 HP. KOs with the Surf. And that's game over. We see another tough lead in the next match. Tentacruel into Shadow A/. Immediate save switch into the dub wall. Opponent staying in with the Shadow A/, and they throw the Ice Punch on alignment, giving me an entire double kick for free. Opponent lands the chip damage. They're now going to send in a Dragon Breath Giratina. So it looks like they are core broken by the dub wall save switch. Payback deals massive damage. I'm farming up with the dub wall, and here I'm going for a bait. I'm expecting that they're going to try and keep switch advantage here, and I'm correct as I'm able to get the shield. That is absolutely terrific. I'm going to be shielding up, trying to make it to the payback here. Giratina will be able to outpace. I'm going to double shield. I don't think I'm going to be able to make the body slam plus the payback, so I'm just going to full send the payback here, hoping my opponent decides to call the bait. Payback does get shielded, and unfortunately, I die with the body slam, so if I baited, I wouldn't have actually made the nuke move anyway. I'm going to send in Tentacruel. My Tentacruel is extremely healthy, so I can trade a lot of this HP for energy. They're going to fire off the Dragon Claw, and they have another one loaded as well. Opponent has so much energy on this Giratina, but that is why we have Tentacruel. Here, I'm going to go for the undercharged Scald and try and commit to the farm down. Scald is going to land. I get the attack drop, which is quite nice. That means that I should be able to live this, and then I'm going to aggressively bring in Virizion. I want an energy head start to guarantee that I can outpace. In the back, they have Golisopod, and this game will be won because I have Stone Edge. They go for the X Scissor. That does absolutely nothing, and I can go for the Stone Edge. This does not one-shot, but it does more than enough damage, getting that Golisopod comfortably into Sacred Sword range. Opponent fires off the X Scissor on alignment, giving me another double kick for free. I can throw one double kick, go for the Sacred Sword. This is resisted, but it will be lethal. Sacred Sword KOs. Opponent sends in the A/, and the A/ is getting knocked out. Sacred Sword gets the KO. In comes the Giratina, and Virizion secures the win. Hopping into the next match, going up against fellow content creator Caleb Bang, and we see a slightly negative lead, Tentacruel into Cobalion. Now, even though this is a slightly losing lead for Tentacruel, Tentacruel does play it extremely close, so I don't have to save switch immediately or anything. I'm just going to stay in here, play it out for a while, and then after I get some serious chip damage on the Cobalion, then I can potentially consider save switching out. I land the Scald. Speaking of save switches, opponent is going to be sending in a Shadow Claw Giratina, and I'm going to respond with Dubwool. Dubwool does do quite well here. Opponent running Ancient Power, and thankfully they do not get the boost. Ancient Power could flip this matchup in Giratina's favor if they got the boost, but thank goodness they do not get the boost. I'm not going to be shielding anything here. Opponent going for the boost again, and again, it does not happen. That's quite nice for me. I'm farming up, able to make it to the payback before they make another Ancient Power. Payback will be lethal. Opponent sends back in Cobalion. Cobalion looking to farm up quite a lot of energy here. I'm firing off the Body Slam. Body Slam, of course, not going to do a lot, but at this point, all chip damage helps. Sacred Sword will be lethal, and now, if I want to, I can send in the Virizion. But I actually decide to send in the Tentacruel. In the back, there is a Zangoose. Caleb running some incredible spice. Props to him. Unfortunately, with the Giratina out of the way, the team is in a really tough spot versus the Virizion. I no shield the first in case they Night Slash. They do Night Slash. Thankfully, again, no boost. I'm going to be shielding up the Virizion. Again, it's a Night Slash, and again, no boost. I am definitely getting good luck here with my opponent not getting the Ancient Power or the Night Slash boost. I will commit the shield. At this point, even if they close combat, that's okay by me. I shield up. It is the close combat. In comes Cobalion, but Cobalion will lose CMP. I do have the 15 attack Virizion. We get the knockout. In comes the Tentacruel, making it to the Scald. Scald will be lethal, and that's a good game. Hopping into the final match, we've got a very interesting lead leading Tentacruel into a Shadow Dragonite. Now, Shadow Dragonite is an incredibly cool pick. It outputs a ton of damage, but that's why it's really nice to have a bulky Pokemon like Tentacruel on the team, as Tentacruel is going to be able to withstand the damage. Opponent save switches into a Shadow Blastoise. I farm up a ton of energy, switch, and we get the catch onto Virizion. Honestly, I wasn't trying to catch there. I was more just looking to bank energy and then send in the Virizion, but it ended up working out way better than I could have ever hoped for. Because with the catch, I should be able to make double Sacred Sword before they make it to the the Ice Beam, which means that Virizion is going to leave this matchup extremely healthy. So I'm going to be firing off the Sacred Sword. That's going to KO. Opponent sends in the Dragonite. Dragonite is going to be firing off a charge move. And you know what? I decided to do something a bit interesting. I think that Virizion could potentially be good versus what they have in the back, so I'm going to shield, bait with the Sacred Sword as I make the Stone Edge, bank it, switch back into the Tentacruel, and fire off the Scald. This is resisted, but it will come very close to KOing. Gets them low, they leave on 1 HP. Oh my goodness, in comes Shadow Swampert. Do they respect the damage? They do not! Big damage onto the Swampert. Swampert gets the farm down, but they only have fractional HP remaining. I can send in the double. We get the double kick for free. And at this point, this game is done. Hydro connects, double kick, gets the KO. In comes the Dragonite, and the opponent concedes the match. All in all, I really enjoyed getting to use this team. This is a team that I would recommend for climbing. I know it's a very XL heavy team, but it's a really balanced ABC style team where you don't necessarily need to fight for Switch every game. Sometimes you can just play for energy, saving Pokemon, weaving them in and out, and just be able to find wins that way. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.